Hello everybody, this is Namanjan coming out with a new tutorial. So this tutorial is going to be an extension of the previous one, and also if I get time, I will start a new tutorial about projectiles from our character. So I'm not entirely sure if you're gonna start at this tutorial or next, because we need to finish the special attacks, and I found some bugs that we need to fix, and also one of you guys have also noticed the bugs. And basically, some of you might have noticed that your special attack does the same damage as your normal attack. Well, that's because you always you what happens is this update will always call this function over here no matter what. So that's a problem, because we only want to call this attack function. We only want to call this attack function from here when we're only doing the special attack, because here attack function is saying, okay, we have a special stun time and we have a special damage percentage and a special key to apply to this attack function. But what you're doing is you're just sending it literally every time to this attack function. So that's wrong. We need to only call this attack function from here when we press the key. So for this, we will need a public bool in action. And this was a variable I was talking about in the end, and I was not sure about it. So we actually need it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if in action. So if our special attack is in action, we're going to call the method. And else, we're not going to do anything, so we don't need to type anything. So what we're going to do is first we're going to go over here, and when we press down the key, we're going to say an action is equal to true. So now it goes through this method over here. And now once our animation is completed, which is over here, so it says after it is past 0.9, we have to finish the animation. So we have to finish calling this method over here. So the way we're going to do is we're going to go over here and return a bool. So every time it's going to return a true if it is not finished. This might seem a little confusing, but it'll clear your questions. So it's going to return true if we are in action. So it's just going to say public attack function and it's returning a true. But here, if it is actually going to end, we're going to return a false. So this way we're going to know that if we are ending the function, if you're ending the special attack. So basically we're going to say if special attack is true. So now we can put this all in the whole bracket over here, because now it's returning a boolean, and effectively this whole line returns a boolean to the if statement. So if it is true, we continue. Else, if it returns a false, and it returns a false when we stop attacking, when the special attack is over, we're going to say in action is equal to false. So this way, this should take out your bug of it doing the same damage as the thing over here. And I think we should apply the same over here too. Wait 1 second. And we're going to press spacebar and we're going to press 1. Whoops. I had to press 1 first. Well, and it does too much damage. So that's just a fix you need to do. If you don't do that fix and you try to add multiple special attacks, it's going to create problems. And now another fix we need to do is we need an AND statement over here saying AND player dot reset special. So basically what is happening over here, it's saying that if we press the key and if the player is not doing a special attack, only then we're gonna reset the attack function, because what happened before is it's not checking if you're already doing a special attack. So if you go here and you spam 1, you see it's interrupting its previous special attack. So basically when we press 1, it's performing a special attack, but when we press 1 again, it's interrupting it over here. So we need to have a if statement to check if you're actually doing a special attack. And if you're not doing a special attack, only then we can interrupt. Only then we can use it. So as you can see, I'm spamming my one, but it is not interrupting itself. And that's an error because our opponent died. We can just fix that later on. But there you go, guys. A fix to the problems. Also, how we made a functionality over here of inaction to only call the method while we are doing a special attack. We need to do the same thing over here. And then only it's going to fix your problem. I'm sorry, I didn't complete that thing over there. I just realized. So what we need to do is we need to say only if we press the space bar, only then we are going to call the method. Because now it's calling it always when you're not doing a special attack. So we're going to have another boolean over here. Maybe over here. I'm going to say public bool in action. And what it's going to do is it's going to say if in action. So if you're in action, only then we're going to call the attack function. Okay, and we're going to say if it is true. So if it is returning true, we're not going to do anything. But if it is not returning true, what we're going to do is we're going to say in action is equal to false. Because it returns false when we're ending the animation and we want to end, we don't want to call this anymore. So we're just going to stop calling it. Very similar to this. And what we're going to do is we're going to set in action to true when we press the key code spacebar. So we're going to go over here and we're going to say if input.gets. We can just copy paste this over here. And if you're not doing a special attack, the same statement as before. And sorry, this is going to be outside this. Or, yeah. It's going to be outside this function. And we're going to say in action is equal to true. So I'll explain it again so you guys don't get confused. So if we press the space bar, so in this case key code dot space. So if we press the space bar and we're not doing any special attack, inaction is going to be true. And if inaction is equal to true, make sure it is outside this if statement. And if inaction is equal to true, we're going to call the attack function over here so that it performs its attack. And when attack function is false, so it goes to this else statement, it's going to say inaction is equal to false. So when it ends the animation, it's not going to go through this if statement anymore. So that should solve your problem of the skill, the special skill doing the same damage as your normal attack damage. I didn't have the problem, but some of you did. And there you go, it just works normally. And now, the good thing about this is we can actually add more special attacks to create more special attacks. So for the first one, you have a spell that does super extra damage and has 200% of your damage. And the first one, you just have a normal stun. And we need to actually assign a key to this, so let's assign alpha 2. There. And what we're going to do is we're going to hover over and press alpha 2, and it gives us an error. That's because we didn't drag the player fighter. We didn't drag the script over here. So you need to drag the script. And what you're going to do is you're going to hover over and press 2, and it just stuns it for 4 seconds, does not take out any health, and we press 1 and it takes out 200%, which is way too much for him to handle. So that should potentially take out some of your guys' bugs where you were complaining about doing the same damage as the normal attack. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is add some cool effects to our attacks. So basically, for adding cool effects, we need particle systems, and for particle systems, we basically you need to go to Unity3D because I'm no artist over here. So first you're going to go to the website and you can go to Asset Store, and it's going to take a while. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Asset Store and go to Particle Systems. And in Particle Systems, you're going to go to Top 3. And you're going to go to Simple Particle Pack. Yes. So I will put this link in the description. I'll just put it over here so I remember. Over there. So it'll be there in the description. Just download it. I'm pretty sure that. Nope. Yeah, I need to download it too. So I will just be back, and after I download it, I'll just be back. Yeah. Okay, guys. Now, so as you can see, we have this folder called Simple Particle Fix, and you have too many particle fix over here. So we're going to go to Simple Particle Pack, we're going to go to Resources, and we're going to go to Explosions, because that's what we want. We're going to go here, and I want to tell you something, guys. It's really hard to resize them according to what your game is. I'm not completely sure how to resize them, but I've heard that resizing the new particle system is really, really difficult. So maybe you should find one of these particle system that is suited to your game size. Again, you're not making a professional game over here. It's just for learning, so size does not really matter over here. But just in case, if you're making a actual game, I really recommend you to buy Particle Scaler. Let me see if I can find it over here. So Particle Scaler, what it does is it basically it costs $10, but it's worth it. But it scales your particle system as shown over here. Trust me, it is actually really hard to scale your particle system. So if you're making a full-fledged game, this is a must pack if you're using particle systems. So for now, it does not really matter, as it's just a learning experience and you can just play with these. So for example, we have a particle system over here, which won't simulate for some reason. Okay, I'm back. Unity would not just let me simulate, so I just restarted Unity and now I can simulate them. So now you can just play with them, go and see, you can just drag them in and it's gonna play the particle effect. So I personally don't know which one I like. There's so many to choose from. Sorry guys, it might take some time. Yeah, this seems okay. So I'm gonna use this particle effect, Explosion 7, in our attack, in my attack. So what we're gonna do is it's important to go over here. What we're gonna do is first we're gonna make a resource folder. We're gonna make a folder. Whoops. And we're gonna call it resources. It has to be named resources, or else it won't work. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a resources class to load resources, and it has to be named resources, or else it won't work. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our go into our resources folder and drag this explosion 07 into here, and we're gonna call it just, if it'll let me rename, or I just might leave it just there, rename. Yeah, there we go. Explosion. Or let's just name it attack 1. Okay, that's better. So we can now apply. We don't even need to apply. We can just delete this. And now what's gonna happen is we're gonna go back over here, and in our fighter, we're gonna go to our fighter, and over here, right over here, what we need to do is we need to instantiate the attack 1. So one way, just to show you how particle effects work, is we can say instantiate, and then we're going to call resources. This was the folder I'm talking about. .load. So we're going to load the resources, and we're going to say attack 1. So now it goes to the resources folder and calls the attack 1. Now we'll have a couple of problems. First problem is that even though we press spacebar, it's gonna call the attack 1 method. And second, it does not instantiate at the transform. So that's easy to do. You just say instantiate resource load attack 1, then put a comma and say opponent dot transform dot position. So it instantiates at the opponent's position, and then you say quaternion dot identity. So it's just the angle is just 0. So we're just we're instantiating at the angle of 0, and then we're gonna just press spacebar and it instantiates on the player's position. But we have another problem. It actually instantiates on the player's leg. 1 second. See, as you can see, if you go closer, it actually instantiates on the player's leg. But what we want is we want to instantiate it on its body in the middle. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go over here. You're gonna put a new vector, and we're gonna say opponent position.x. 1 second, I'll give you a reason of why we're doing this. X, Y, and Z. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put in a plus sign over here saying plus 2.5f. So this basically is going to raise the instantiation by 2.5 on the y-axis. So basically, as we can see over here, this is the y-axis over here. So we're raising it by 2.5 units of y-axis, so it's going up. So it's going to go somewhere over here. So now this value might be different for you. It might be lower or higher depending on your prefab size. So if it is smaller, if your prefab is really small, if your enemy is small, this will change to smaller values, and so on. So let's check if 2.5 is good enough. I'm gonna go, and as you can see, it's a little high, so I'll change it to 1.5 and I'll be happy with that. I'll just test 1.5. I just need to hover over because I need and then I think, yeah, I'm happy with 1.5. So now what we want to do is we want to only instantiate this this game object only when we call it from this special attack. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass it a game object, a particle system, so it will only instantiate when we do this special attack. Now it might seem a little confusing, but I will show you. So first, over here we need a public game object particle effect. So this is going to be this particle effect over here. So what we can do is we can go over to player. You see particle effect and just drag it. Particle effect is also a game object, so you can just drag it as a game object. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our attack function and we're gonna pass it a new variable called game object particle effect. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our other methods where we call it, and we're gonna just put in null because in our auto attack we don't really want any particle effects. So now that's sorted out. So what we need to do is so now our attack function has a particle effect. Now what we want to do is we want to send our impact method the particle effect, because here is where you have our get hit and get stun. Here's where you're going to play the particle effect. So this is where you're going to play the particle effect. So hence you need a particle effect over here. Particle effect. And basically you're just going to send in the particle effect over here. Okay? And sorry, just to interrupt the tutorial. A lot of you guys have been asking me to put the script. So what I'm going to do is every 3 or 4 tutorials I'm going to put up a script I'm going to put all the scripts. So I'm going to update the script to the to those tutorials. I'm not going to put it every tutorial. So I'll put an updated version of the script updated to this tutorial in the link below. So you can download it if you have any kind of problems you have. So you have the game object particle effect in your impact method. So now what you can do is you can instantiate that particle effect. Now, but before we instantiate, we need to check if it's null. So you're going to say only if our particle effect is not equal to null, only then we're going to instantiate. Because for example over here, we send where is it? Over here we call the attack function, but we send our particle system effect to be null. So we don't want to instantiate that. So if it is not null, we're going to go over here and we're going to just instantiate the particle effect. Instantiate particle effect at this position with this angle. So we're going to go back. We're going to have an error. And yes, of course, we need to send the particle effect from here, so that it actually gets the particle effect in this attack function. So just a short description, we're just sending a particle effect from our special attack to the attack function over here. And from the attack function, we're sending it to the impact. And then in the impacts, we are instantiating the particle effect. Just to make it guys easier for you guys. So we're just gonna increase the stun time to 10 seconds just for fun over here, and then we have the attack one over here and at 2, so I'm gonna press 2 and it does effect and it stuns the enemy over there. So there we go, we have attack with particle effect, but we are still not done yet. So we have another problem. So you know, it's a part of gaming. Problems always pop up and you have to fix them bugs. So if you notice, for example, now my stun is 4 seconds. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna press 2, and it's gonna stun him. But when I press 2 again, and when I press 2 again, you see the stun is not 4 seconds. So I stun him. I stun him again. But it's clearly not 4 seconds. I'll show you again. So you should be stunned for 4 seconds. 1001. See, it's not stunned for 4 seconds. Now, what's the problem with that? So the problem is we have a get stun method here. So the first time you stun, it actually goes for 4 seconds. But the second time you stun, you're actually not canceling the previous stun. So what we need to do is we actually need to cancel this method. We need to cancel the invoke. So what we're going to do is first we're going to cancel invoke, and we're going to cancel the stun countdown. So this way we are refreshing the stun. We're canceling this, and by canceling the calling method and setting the stun time to seconds, we're refreshing the stun to the new stun time. So now we can go back and we're going to go here and press 2 and press 2 again, and then it's going to be stunned for 4 seconds, as you can see. So there you go, guys. I was not able to complete the projectile video. One of you has asked me to make projectile tutorial. I'm sorry about that because this video took way too long, but I promise you that the next one is going to be about the projectiles. And one more last news to you guys. I'm gonna be a little like a naughty boy over here, but I wanted to tell you guys that I will only make the inventory guide, the Diablo style inventory guide, only after I get 250 subscribers. So I'm giving you guys a little push to increase my subscribers rate. I mean, come on, that's what all YouTubers want. It won't even take that long to get 250 subscribers if we go at this rate, because I already have 200 subscribers, and 250 subscribers is gonna take like 15 days. So don't be worried about that stuff. So you are gonna get the Diablo style inventory stuff. Don't worry about that. And I know it's kind of a little mean, but hey, I'm giving you these tutorials for free, so why not? Don't hate me for these guys, but yeah. So. And one more thing is that people have been also actually asking about WoW style inventory system. So as I promised, I'm first gonna do the Diablo style inventory system. But after doing the Diablo style inventory system, I will also do a WoW inventory system like RuneScape or WoW, where you have single items. So in the end, I'll end up doing both of them, but Diablo style will be the first priority as always. So good job, guys. Keep it up. Subscribe, like my video if you liked it, and I will try to put on more content more frequently as I've partnered with TGN, and it has actually it has boosted me and it has made me more passionate about making more videos. So bye bye, guys. Have a good day.